Thank you, Chairman. I guess I'm interested in the panel's advice on some of the issues that we are facing. What I've seen is a lot of public documents that used to be on websites have been removed from the websites, and if they were being updated, they're not there any longer to be updated. So if you want to get access to what used to be online, you now have to file a FOIA request. So boom, you've just added a new FOIA request to the array of FOIA requests that are pending out there. There's a rule that repeatedly requested documents at some point are just supposed to be posted so that you don't have to request them over and over and over and over and over again. I think we're seeing a lot of slippage in posting repeatedly requested documents, that doesn't seem to be honored very effectively. Things that agency officials used to make public, like their day-to-day calendars, are now not made public. And then if they are ultimately FOIA'd, you end up with disclosures like that, which are pretty unhelpful. So when you jam up those means of public disclosure, you necessarily drive more people into the FOIA process, and that jams up the FOIA process. We're also seeing this problem of unexplained redactions of documents that seem to go way beyond what the FOIA law provides for, which again then requires further FOIA pursuit of why those things were redacted so much. And ultimately you then end up with a lot of litigation. Our understanding is that the meet and confer practices to try to resolve FOIA disputes have significantly declined, and that under this administration, a much harder line is being taken that you got to litigate all this stuff, and maybe in some cases they even like the litigation because it forestalls production. We're up to 55 lawsuits now on FOIA at EPA, which I think is pretty unprecedented, at least from what I hear. So, and then unfortunately at our end, very often the responses that I get, because I'm a senator, I can actually write letters, and we usually get a response, although sometimes we're told, wait in line for our FOIA answer to the public, and we'll let you know what we answer, which, great, that's really helpful to oversight, thanks a bunch. But we often also get just pablum answers. And I think a solution to a lot of this is simply to have bipartisan, meaningful enforcement behind our requests, at least, so we're not tied up in the FOIA queue, and so that we're getting real answers. If an agency knows that no gavel will ever come down requiring a real answer, it's going to open up the mischief even further to giving either nonsense or really pablum answers and avoiding the questions that are being asked. So I guess my question is, how far do you think that you can actually go by statute in trying to fix FOIA problems where you have administration practices like taking down public documents to drive people into FOIA, not following the repeatedly request rules, hiding stuff that always used to be public, so that adds new FOIAs, moving to a very adversarial litigation posture where you try to, instead of resolving litigation, pack it up, and that way you build a logjam into the whole FOIA process. It's really hard, it seems to me, to try to legislate your way around that. You can't legislate good faith. And so what's your advice looking at those different, at that set of predicaments that the public has in trying to get information through an increasingly and apparently deliberately jammed up FOIA process?
I'll take a first shot at giving you an answer. There's a lot of different concepts in your remarks. One of the things I think fundamentally, when you talk about talking with requesters, it's been a big focus of ours, our guidance to agencies and our outreach to agencies and our work with OGIS is to facilitate and improve communication with requesters, because we all share the common goal of wanting to avoid disputes. It doesn't help anyone to have disputes, and it certainly, to the extent that communication is an issue, that to me always has seemed like an easily fixable thing. So we've issued guidance on...
You all may share that common goal, but I'm not sure all the cabinet officials do who are driving this behavior in the agencies. I'm over my time, so what I think I would like to ask is that any further responses to that, if you would put that in writing, can I make that a question for the record, Chairman? Done. Thank you for your time, and thank you for your efforts to at least try to make the FOIA process responsive and meaningful, because it's one of the basic ways in which government is accountable to its citizens.